Hey, Washington football fans, welcome back. Today, I want to go over, the last 5 days of OTAs and my prediction for the final 53-man roster, kind of taking from my offensive starter projection, defensive starter projection, looking at how things have been in OTA so far, and kind of extrapolating who I think will be the final roster. I know OTAs is kind of early to look at that stuff. We still got, training camp and everything, but just going along with that, I want to work it out, tell you who I think is going to be on the team, who's going to make the roster. And before I get into that, if I can ask you guys, please hit the subscribe button. I've been blessed with tons of viewers so far here, my first month and a half out, and I'm truly thankful from the bottom of my heart, but I'm probably somewhere around 10% of viewers I've had subscribed. So if you guys are watching the video, if you could do me a huge favor, go down and hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks. So here we go. So through 5 days of OTAs, I just got to say, man, when you're good, you're good. Like, listen, it looks like the football gods went to the comment section of my starter prediction videos and said, oh, you don't believe him? How about now? First off, I got tons of pushback about Jamin playing Mike. I put Jamin Davis as the starting Mike linebacker in my defensive protection videos, and everybody argued against that. Oh, he's going to be Will. Oh, he's going to be all around. 5 days of OTAs, every Jamin rep we've seen has been at Mike. People were worried about him being able to get the play call in. Apparently, looks like he's doing great. So there we got that. And then everybody pushed back on Khaleke Hudson, calling him a special teamer only. Oh, he's a special teamer who could come in spots. I even got, who the hell is Hudson? Do you mean Holcomb? In the comment sections, like I didn't know what I was talking about. And on top of all the solid reps he's putting out, he snags this insane interception, and Twitter goes nuts, proclaiming him the absolute truth. Sorry, boys. Y'all casuals, you're late. I've been on this dude since before he came out. Viper in Michigan. I knew this guy's a beast. I knew it would just take a little bit for him to get used to the system, get used to the speed of the NFL, and like I said, I see this guy as a starter. I'm glad you guys all can see that now. And then we got Ben St. Juste. This was one of my favorite cornerbacks in the draft. I knew he would fit the system perfectly, and I knew he would outplay himself in college. He's got 2 picks so far, and now the Washington football fam are seeing it my way. Putting him outside, on the opposite side of Jackson, with Fuller back in the slot. That's going to be the best formula for us at corner, I believe. And he's gone out there and he's done his thing, and he's shown people that, he does have the skills, like I knew. I mean, like I said, this was one of my guys in the draft, so I'm just pumped to see him out there doing work. Already got more interceptions in OTAs than he had in his college career, but I knew he would. I knew he was going to take a big step up, and just happy to see it. He's definitely making the roster, so there's that. In the video, I also put Derek Forrest at free safety starter because I thought his athleticism and instincts would let him patrol high, and he had the speed to come downhill and make plays. And I thought that, before we signed Bobby McCain. And when we got McCain, I thought, with his experience, he might, he should be the starter maybe. But Forrest has been making plays all over the field. He's looking like it's not going to be any problem for him adjusting. And again, yes, this is all just OTAs, but he's looked great with the speed of the game. He's also snatched 2 picks already, so maybe he's ready now. And it's not so crazy that I put him as a starter in my other video. On the offensive side, Moses is gone, like I said, and Sadiq is out there taking tackle snaps until Leno got here yesterday. Now, that's another thing. Everybody wanted to argue with me about Sadiq Charles. Like, this man is just destined to be a guard. Like, this man was, like, PFF had him somewhere in the 30s as far as overall prospects coming out in that draft. He only fell because of his some off the field questions, like the question his work ethic and stuff. That has not been a problem here in Washington. He's super talented. He's got the length. He's gained the size, and he's a super athlete just like Cosme. He just didn't round out all the drills to get that flashy RAS score, but you could watch him on the field. You could tell he's a super athlete. We're going to have some great bookends going forward. And while I do believe that Leno, who just got here yesterday, when he got here, Lucas started taking the snaps at right tackle and Charles set out. So that even makes me think that, that's their guy moving forward. I think that, Leno and Lucas start this year and they're just paving the way. L&L are paving the way for CNC, Cosme and Charles moving forward. And John Bates, that's my dude. I had him in my tight end prospect video. I had him in mock drafts. Big fan of his blocking. Knew he had potential as a pass catcher. He got better every year in college. And he has been getting super high praise coming out of the offseason from, off-field Logan Paulson. Everybody watched his tape. And then his performance at the OTAs. He's been making some athletic, body contorting catches. And everybody is starting to see, like, hey, man, this guy could be the real deal. So, again, happy that it's all working out. Then we all knew, McLaurin, Samuel, Brown. They're looking as we expected. Looking great out there. They're going to be the three amigos. They're going to be holding it down. And then my man Dax Milne, who I think very highly of. He's got a bit of bright-eyed praise from Rivera. Like when Rivera mentioned him, he kind of perked up a bit and got a little excited. I don't think this dude has dropped a pass in the OTAs. And he's also looked good in returns as well. He's inching closer and closer to making Humphreys expendable. And I think it's a no-brainer if he's even remotely close, because just the price difference. And, Humphreys has some, concerns. Like, is he going to be able to play all the time? He gets some injuries. Then my man Kelvin Harmon came back. I love this guy. He was one of my guys in the draft then. Didn't have a channel back then. But I've been in comment sections for the last 2 years, hyping this man up. We all love him. Glad to get him back. And, Ron's made some mentions of him. So, he's doing his thing out there. And then on, like Reyes, man, the media and the Washington football fam have been pretty hard on Reyes so far with some drops. Everybody's thinking like, oh, like it's so far off. He's out there dropping the ball and everything in practice. But the staff has nothing but praise for this man. They're really happy with his progression. And I'm still in the camp that thinks this guy can see the field this season. I think he can be schemed in some nice production because, he makes, he's dropped some passes, but he makes some nice catches out there, and his athleticism still shines through. He's still a big freak in nature. Like, even if you just, scheme him open a couple times a game, like, he could maybe bust things open for you. I really think this guy definitely gets a roster spot because you're not going to risk putting him on the practice squad. No way. Have somebody else sign him? Not a chance. And I haven't heard anything about my man Shaka Toney and his linebacker conversion, but I'm still hopeful that maybe it'll be a thing for mandatories with pads on. Like, that's my biggest hope so far, is that they do follow through with that. Like Jack Del Rio had mentioned it, and a couple other people had said stuff, and I've been clamoring for it since we drafted him. So I didn't get to see any footage on him really from OTAs, but hopefully when mandatories hit, we start to hear a little bit more about him. So, I went over some of those guys, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about how my 53-man roster shaking out here. Like I said, I know we're a long way off, but with the impression from OTAs and my overall evaluation of the players, here's how I see it. We're going to start out on the offensive side of the ball. First off, at center, Chase Roulier, he's on the team. Keith Ishmael's on the team. We're going to carry 4 guards, I think. It's going to be Sheriff, Flowers, Schweitzer, and surprisingly, Bo Benshaw. I like this guy coming out of college. I thought he was very athletic. He came as a tight end and a defensive end to college, and was transferred to a tackle, and then a guard, and then a center, and then a guard. He moved around a lot, so he's got a lot of position flex, and he's a really good athlete. So I think he could be like a really good swing guy to be there with Schweitzer and behind Flowers and Sheriff. Then I got us carrying 4 offensive tackles on the 53-man roster. You got Leno, Lucas, Cosme, and Charles. It's basically going to be Leno and Lucas starting, with Cosme and Charles, rotating in throughout the year, getting ready to take things over for next year. Then tight end, got Logan Thomas, John Bates, and Samus Reyes is getting a roster spot because, like I said, you can't risk putting that man on the practice squad. Running back, we're only going to carry 3 running backs because Curtis Samuels can flex into both. So Gibson, McKissick, and I got my man Jared Patterson making the team because, he's a beast and he's local. This dude's going to put his heart out there every game, and he's super talented anyway. So he's making the roster. Quarterback, I initially was only thinking, hey, we're only going to carry 2, but with everything that's been said about Steven Montez, his availability because of having COVID and being vaccinated, them talking about putting him in different places like Taysom Hill, having him fill in. I think we're going to have Fitzpatrick, Heineke, and Montez on the 53-man roster. No practice squad for Montez. Unless they stash and protect him and then just activate him as the weeks go when they need him. But I think they're just going to give him a roster spot. And then wide receiver, of course, McLaurin, Samuel, Brown. I got Kelvin Harmon earning a spot. I got Dax Milne overtaking Humphreys and earning a spot. And I got Cam Sims earning a spot. Basically a lot of for what he did towards the end of the year last year. How he kind of came in. That gives us 25 offensive players on the 53-man roster. Then over to the defensive side of the ball. D tackles, I got us carrying 4. We all know who those 4 are. Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Matt Ioannidis, and Tim Settle. All beasts. All could be starters on another team. Those are our 4 guys at D tackle. At defensive end, I got us carrying 5 players. Montez Sweat and Chase Young, of course. James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, because he's a freak athlete, guys. If you've seen his RAS score, seen his stats, like this guy, he's a great athlete. He just needs to be molded a little bit, and then he could be like a Matt Ioannidis or a Tim Settle, like a late round or undrafted type guy that is a hell of a backup for our like dominant first string player. And then William Bradley King, James Smith-Williams, kind of the same thing. So that's the 5 D ends. Sweat, Young, Smith-Williams, Toohill, and Bradley King. Linebacker, we got Jamin Davis, Cole Holcomb, Khaleke Hudson, Shaka Toney, Joe Walker, and John Bostic. We got 6 linebackers on the team. Yes, I think Shaka Toney's going to make it. No, I'm not making any secrets out of it. I think he's going to be able to do it. Perfect athletic profile. He's a smart kid. He did good at the Senior Bowl. I think at some point in the year he might, win over some starting reps. Like Cameron Curl be an injury or, just working past. Joe Walker is a sneaky athlete. I think a lot of these guys kind of push Bostic farther down the line. I mean, especially if Jamin Davis is able to put the plays in. It really makes, things look dark for Bostic. At strong safety, Collins and Curl. That's a no-brainer. Free safety, Bobby McCain and Derek Forrest. Everybody's thinking he kind of looks more like like the strong safety role, but I mean, he's fast. He can definitely play that deep, center field with the speed he's got. And I mean, he's looked good in OTA so far. So we got, 2 strong safeties, 2 free safeties. And then corner, William Jackson III, Kendall Fuller, Ben St. Juste, Jimmy Moreland. And I'm holding out hope, reaching a little bit from a man, Greg Stroman, right here. He hasn't really got any games like in the last year or two. But when he had to come in for, was that back with Josh Norman? I can't remember, but when he came in for, I believe it was an injured Josh Norman his last season here. Stroman's first season. Man, he played some really good football. He's just been hurt since then. He hasn't got on the field. He's a ball hawk. He's a guy that I think still has a ton of potential. He's a local guy. I always put a lot of stock into that. So I'm really hoping that's the way it shakes out with 5 corners on the team. Now, there's a possibility for a 6th with the 50th roster spot before the special teams comes down. I think it comes down to 3 players. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but Troy Apke, just because of his sheer athleticism, Ron is really trying to figure out a way to use him. And he might end up getting a roster spot strictly as a special teamer when it all boils down to it. Like, he's moving this man all around. He's trying him out at cornerback now just because he's such an athlete. So, at the very least, we might have, a 4th player devoted strictly to special teams outside of the long snapper, punter, and kicker. Apke might just be an all-time special teamer just because Like you can see Ron trying to work with this athleticism. I mean, corner, they really hard committed at the beginning of the season last season, actually started this man at free safety. But if corner doesn't work out for him, he could just, like I said, end up as a straight up special teamer. Instead of letting him go, Ron's going to stick him on a special team. If not, I think we could actually be looking at a 7th wide receiver on the roster. I think we carried 7 last year. That's kind of because everybody sucked. They just wanted more options, I guess. But if we got a 7th wide receiver spot, I think AGG gets it. Antonio Gandy Golden. Because, I mean, he had a rough go of it last year. He didn't have a mini camp. He had COVID. He got injured. I think he was involved in like 6 snaps or something like that for 1 catch. So he definitely underwhelmed. He was one of my guys coming out of college. I really liked him. I had no idea that Washington was going to draft him. He was just somebody I really liked, and we ended up getting him. I was super pumped and got super let down. But hopefully he can redeem himself. Hopefully he end up with a roster spot like this and make the most of the reps he gets. And then possibly the least likely, but still possible, I think, is Jeremy Reeves, and that would give us an even 25-25 split between the offense and defense. Jeremy Reeves definitely did pretty good. He was very serviceable as a free safety last year. So having him, Forrest, and McCain to go along with Curl and Collins, like we could rotate all those free safeties kind of down to the box and everything. They kind of play well there too. So the back end's got a lot of position flex. You know, a little more so than Landon Collins. He's kind of the odd man out with the lack of flexibility, but that's all I see that. And of course, special teams. We got Cameron Cheeseman, Dustin Hopkins, and Tress Way. Those are our special teams. That gives us 53. And then practice squad, we got either whoever doesn't make the team out of AGG, Jeremy Reeves, and Troy Apke. They're going on the practice squad. Isaiah Wright's going on the practice squad. Tyler Larson is going to the practice squad, I believe. Wes Martin's going to get bumped down to the practice squad. He hasn't quite shown through, to what we thought he could be, but he still has potential. So kick him down to the practice squad. Offensive linemen tend to progressively get better as the years go on. Like you can see that incremental increase in talent and skill as they go. So bump him down, give him a couple years. Maybe he could be a starter. David Bada, I see him going down there. David Steinmetz, big left tackle. I think he's like 6'8". He's going to get bumped down there. Rick Leonard, I mean, he had some promise, like physically. He's another 6'7", 6'8" guy. Tackle, he'll be down there. Devereaux Lawrence, defensive lineman. I could see him making it to the practice squad. Jordan Kunask. I don't know. He's a linebacker Ron brought in at the end of the year, towards the end of the year last year. Like he had some promising college tape. I want to say he's from Cal. I remember watching tape on him when we got him. But, he had some promising stuff, and he did okay in very limited pro reps. Ron brought him in for the Panthers, undrafted. Then he brought him over here. So, I'm pretty sure he makes the practice squad. Justin Phillips, another young, undrafted linebacker we brought in. Pretty sure he makes the practice squad. Then you got guys like I know we could do veterans now, so maybe David Mayo gets stashed on the practice squad, case of emergency. Maybe his boy was it Scott Norris or Norris? Yeah, Scott Norris. I think he might get stashed down there. I mean, but you got like Hudson and then Apke and then like people like that, Shaka Tony probably that'll end up playing special teams. Those guys all kind of make him a little obsolete at this point. So it's not looking good for him. At the very best, I think he could get stashed on the practice squad. We do have 14 practice squad positions this season, so I mean that's a lot of guys that could be stashed away. But yeah, that's what I think the final 53 man roster is going to be, and going to kind of boil down to, you know, hopefully an even balance 25 on 25. And years before, you know, we've seen 23s to 27s and stuff like that. But like last year, we had more wide receivers, you know, that led to us like it trending towards offense a little more, tipping towards offense a little more. But I think we end up with a pretty balanced 53 man roster. You know, 25 and 25 on each side with the special teams. And I'm super excited about this roster. We haven't had a roster in a while where it's like you're like looking at it like, man, we're gonna have to cut some talented people. But I think this roster here kind of lets us keep the cream of the crop, the best potential guys, the best current players, and it's just a great balance. I hope this is how it ends up. This is how I see it shaking out personally. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Who you think's gonna make the team? Who's not gonna make the team? Who's hitting the practice squad? Again, I love you guys for watching. If you could please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, and love you guys. Peace.